Hello and welcome to the history of movie theaters in Manhattan for 1990 to 1999. 1990. The new film forum Triplex Cinema at 209 West Houston opens on April 19th. The new Murray Hill Cinemas 4 at 162 East 34th Street is opened by City Cinemas on December 21st. Here are the changes for 1990. These cinemas closed in 1990. 1991. The Village East Cinema 7 at 181 2nd Avenue is opened by City Cinemas on February 22nd in the old Stuyvesant Theater. The Lowe's Village 7plex at 66 3rd Avenue opens on May 24th. The old Orpheum Theater reopens as the Lowe's Orpheum 7plex on November 22nd. The Cineplex Odeon 1st and 62nd Cinema 6 at 400 East 62nd Street was to open on July 26, with an ad placed in the papers, but the city demanded more work, including wider escalators, forcing its opening to be delayed to November 27th. The Walter Reed Cinema at the Lincoln Center at 165 West 65th Street opens on December 3rd. The York Cinema at 1105 1st Avenue reopens on December 27th. Here are the changes for 1991. These theaters closed in 1991. (1992). The Bijou Male Adult Cinema at 82 East 4th Street opens with 42 seats. The old Talia Soho at 15 Van Dam reopens as the Cinematheque, which closed later in the year. The Cine 1 and its 711 7th Avenue reopens as the show Follies 4 as one of the last adult cinemas in the Times Square area. Here are the changes for 1992. These cinemas closed in 1992. 1993. City Cinemas reopens the Biograph at 225 West 57th Street as the Angelica 57 on March 12th. The Lincoln Plaza Cinemas at 1886 Broadway adds screens 4, 5 and 6. These cinemas closed in 1993. 1994. Lowe's became Sony Theaters on April 19th.
Welcome to Sony Theaters.
Come in,
where you can always see the stars.
That's right, we're bad.
Feeling hungry?
Out of a mushroom omelet, cooked with very little butter.
I'm just a potato eater. Come on!
There's something for everyone at our concession stand.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
I'll have what she's having.
Please be courteous.
I won't shush you.
The Movieplex at 244 West 42nd Street opens on June 26th with 6 poorly designed screens. The Sony Lincoln Square 9 and IMAX Theater at 1998 Broadway opens on November 18th. It's the first IMAX theater to be built into a multiplex cinema and the first IMAX 3D in the world. These cinemas closed in 1994. 1995. The Sony Lincoln Square adds screens 10 to 13. These theaters closed in 1995. (1996). The Sony State 4 at 1540 Broadway at the site of the old Lowe's State opens in the basement of the Virgin Megastore on May 15th. On November 15th, the UA Gemini Twin at 1210 2nd Avenue becomes the UA 64th and 2nd Triplex. The Cineplex Odeon 23rd Street West Triplex at 261 8th Avenue is reopened as the Chelsea West with 2 larger screens on December 6. The Lighthouse Cinema at 116 Suffolk opens as an experimental cinema. The Tribeca Cinemas at 54 Varick Street opens. Here are the changes for 1996. These theaters closed in 1996. 1997. Sony Theaters and Cineplex Odeon merges to create Lowe's Cineplex Cinemas. The old West Side Cinemas at 707 7th Avenue reopens as the Embassy 1, 2 and 3. The Beekman Theater is reopened by Cineplex Odeon on November 7th. The Baronet and Coronet expands to 3 screens. These theaters closed in 1997. 1998. The UA Union Square 14 at 850 Broadway opens as the first stadium seating cinema complex in Manhattan on November 13th. The Cinema Classics at 332 East 11th Street opens. These theaters closed in 1998. Los Cineplex sells these theaters to Clearview Cinemas. $19.99. The Los Kips Bay 15 at 572nd Avenue opens on May 14th. The Lozy Walk 13 at 247 West 42nd Street opens on November 12th. City Cinemas adds screens 3 and 4 to the 86 Cinemas at 210 East 86th Street in May. These theaters closed in 1999. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe.